Okay, great. So we're going to start with a sample slow reveal. Um, and at this point, I'm not going to go through the whole protocol, but at this point, we'd be asking questions like, what do you notice? What do you see? What questions do you have? What could this be about? Um, what do you think's going on in this picture? And then, with a fair amount of time for discussion, and that would be up to you all to decide how much time is appropriate in your classroom. It could be quite a bit. If people might have a lot to see and notice. Well, let me just ask you, what do you see? What do you notice?
So
10 individuals.
Mhm.
Blue, 9 are blue and 1 is red. And then you have a green car. And I'm trying to figure out the red.
Yes.
individual, the one most likely to escape.
right.
Right. Is it 9 out of 10 people do this? Right. Yeah.
If there weren't the red, I might think, oh, maybe like in New York City, let's say the ratio of people who walk versus drive or have a car or something. But the red is kind of a mystery.
was thinking-
I might be colorblind. Is it red or is it orange?
Might be
On my
orange.
screen,
Orange,
it
dark
looks
orange.
But anyway, and then the thing with the red or orange person is there's also kind of like a little box around them
Mm-hmm.
as well as the color.
I was
Mhm.
thinking if a car was going 50 miles an hour, it would go through the blue people before, getting to the orange, and then it would stop. So that person would be safe. But that doesn't really make sense because then the person would be in green and not in orange. Like orange still seems a little bit dangerous.
But you were thinking it could be like it would plow through 9 people, and then that red person would be the last person standing.
And I don't drive a car, folks, so just relax. And
But green often means safe, and red does
Right.
often mean
Exactly. So it seems like the red one is the one that's like at risk or representing like pedestrian fatalities or representing, I don't know.
Yeah, I immediately thought about Vision Zero.
Mhm.
Mm.
Right.
it's really it's hard for me to move on because I want to keep going, but I'm going to skip
What about
forward a little bit.
congestion pricing? Should we talk
Oh,
about
God.
local?
Yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
We
okay.
complain
Oh.
about. Oh.
Huh.
Wait a second.
Hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah.
If I were in the classroom, I would continue to ask questions, but I'm going to refrain and just let you talk.
Would you have done it one piece at a time? Like you just showed us 3 now versus the 1. So would you have done it 1, 2, and 3, or it's up to? Yeah.
To be totally honest, I looked at this right before the meeting and it was all 3 together. And I was like, you know what? That probably should be one at a time. And I quickly edited the slide in like 30 seconds and created that first slide.
Okay.
Mhm,
Got it.
mhm.
But it's, there's all kinds of decisions to be made and there's different ways to do it. And it depends what you want to highlight and what you want to review. Yeah. So there's a different path. So it depends what kind of conversation you want. Yeah. I don't know.
I kind of like this because the first one has so much mystery, and I think what is revealed is the trend is so salient, right? With suddenly having the 3 appear at once. And I'm noticing, right, my own association with red is danger and bad, and
Mhm.
that's what I'm getting is some negative effect or dangerous effect increasing.
So what do you
Maybe
think?
the one at the bottom is going faster. Like it's about the speed of driving and the likelihood of causing injuries or fatalities to pedestrians. I don't know.
But then I'd see it should be flipped around. In other words, again, if we're looking at the orange as being like danger, I would see it the other way, going. And again, I hear what you're saying too. I get that.
Welcome, Louise. We're looking at a quick slow
Louise.
reveal.
Hi, Louise.
Hey, you
Uh,
guys. Hi. Sorry I'm late.
No worries.
Okay.
We're looking at a quick slow reveal, and then I'm gonna reveal how it's made, and we're
Can
gonna.
I take a guess?
Yeah.
Are
please.
we guessing at what this could possibly be?
Absolutely.
Yes.
Yes, we're making observations and guesses and whatever.
Could it be like the use of seat belts or something like that
Oh,
to
Hmm.
decrease the number of accidents?
Hmm.
I mean, the number of deaths. Just a guess.
That's a good one.
Let me give you a little bit more
Puzzling how
information.
just how the car is the constant.
Mhm.
Like I would expect a car to double or something, have some change to then affect the people. So that's throwing me off.
Right.
It's remaining the
Right.
same.
Like pedestrians. Has to be.
Okay, so it's not specific to New York City. Not
But
just
I gave you some new information.
Yeah,
that maybe you
US
can see.
Department of Transportation, comma, there's a comma, so there's more,
Ah,
more to that
uh-huh.
label.
What does it say? Vehicle
Oh.
travel speeds and
Oh, you were on the right track, Michael.
Yeah.
pedestrian
Travels-
injuries. Okay.
Mm.
But
I'm
somehow,
just gonna go a little faster. Go ahead, Michael, sorry.
no, Eric, go ahead. It's fine. I'm the coloring is what doesn't work for me. Somehow I don't see the blue as being the danger, but in this, obviously that's the way that it was set up. So please continue.
Or the red is the
But I
danger.
think that the speed is gonna increase, right?
Yes.
So the
Yes.
red, the higher
Yeah.
the speed, the more the
Who
red or the
said, who said
orange.
vision zero? Is that Linda?
Yeah.
Yeah. That seems right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wow.
Mm.
Yeah, that's a huge difference between
Wow.
obviously 20
Yeah.
miles and 40 miles an hour.
Right.
So
Yeah.
1 out of 10 compared to 8 out of 10.
To me, what seems strange is I would put the orange on the other side. Like to me, and again, I'm kind of seeing this as being like the negative. So it's like the car plows through 1 in the first 20 miles per hour, then it plows through 4, and then it plows through 8.
Mm-hmm.
I agree. I think it would maybe be more effective
Yeah.
was in that
Totally.
order.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I never thought about it. I didn't create the graphic, but I think that's a great suggestion. Yeah, I agree. So there's a little bit more, I think. Let me see. I'll just kind of go through the rest of it here. If the
Mhm.
person survives a collision, 90%, you
Yeah.
actually, so we didn't really talk about the percents, but we might reveal that much and then see if what can people supply the other ones potentially. I don't know, but
Yeah.
there's lots of possibilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is this the original? Okay, sorry. So
Oh, wow.
this is the original.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh, so
then
it's not just injuries, it is fatalities.
it's fatal. Oh, right. So yeah, right.
Wow.
I mean, first kind of, flash the 90%. I mean, this could have been a good time to just play around a little bit with percentages. Like, can you guess what's going to happen in the next 30 miles per hour, 40 miles per hour, given that first chart?
Yeah, what do you predict? Or what? Yeah, exactly. So I'd like to show you now how I created this animation. This is all in Google Slides.
Mm-hmm.
Each of these steps is a different slide.
Mhm.
So this slide 12, there's some other slides here. We have some practice test questions and things like that. But this is the 12 it's an image file. I think it's just a screenshot.
Mm-hmm.
And then each slide on the way back. Let's go back to the first one. Everything is hidden by, it's the same image file behind, but then there are all these empty, what do I call it? I guess objects.
Text box.
Yeah, these aren't actually text boxes. It's here and it's
Shapes.
Shape.
shapes. There we go.
Ah.
So basically what I've done is inserted a shape.
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay.
But when they first come in, they often have like a color and an outline.
Mhm.
And basically I've just clicked on it, changed it to have a white background
Mhm.
and no border or a white border, and then just kind of putting it in. And
Uh-huh.
Huh.
so actually,
Wow, that's easy.
it's
Yeah.
pretty easy. So Michael had a suggestion maybe of, instead of revealing two, or, you know, like going from 1 to 3, let's say we wanted to do like an intermediate step. We'll do this, we're gonna do this a couple times, so don't worry about catching every detail here, because I'm gonna show you
And
again.
the first time, Eric, you just did a copy of an image and pasted it into the slide.
Yeah, and we'll do that together, yeah.
Okay.
So what, and then, but like here, I want an intermediate step, and I'll show you this again, you may not catch it the first time, but, so like this one here, I've got almost everything masked.
Mhm.
But I want to start to reveal things. So it's all this, you know, I want to basically start to delete some of this stuff.
Mhm.
But for this one, I actually want an intermediate step.
Mm-hmm.
I think what I'll do is I'll take this first slide, I'm going to copy it. So I'm right clicking or whatever you need to do to get that menu. And I'm duplicating the slide.
Mhm.
So now we have 2 of that first one.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm going to go in here and I had this is this big shape where I had hidden.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Ah,
So now and now I already had the one with all 3. So now, if I go back in here, now we have 3 steps. 1, 2, 3.
Right.
So, well, let's go through this a couple times. What I'd like to do, I think, is show you, let's start from the beginning with a new document. And let's see, a slide. So I have a collection, I pulled together some slides here for us to look at. In case you may have brought one yourself, but if you want to use one of the ones I brought, let's see, which one do I want? How about just to play around for a minute? How about this one? So, the first step, there's probably different ways to do this. The first thing I do is I take a screenshot. I'm on a PC. So a screenshot on a Mac and a PC is different. I actually have to, maybe somebody can remind me how to do it on PC. Is anyone on a PC? I'm sorry, anyone on a Mac?
I'm on a Mac.
No, but I think isn't there just a key that says screenshot?
I think it's Control F3 to get the whole screen and Control F4 if you
Cool.
want to part of the screen.
Oh, cool.
That's
So
how I do it on the Mac.
We'll come back to that. You'll be doing it together. So let's make sure, I'll make sure I have a document that has both, and I'll send them to you as
Oh,
well.
okay. 'Cause I don't have the F keys on my Mac. So I don't know how to do it.
So it's Shift, and it's because I don't write it down. I just do it. It's the little symbol key with the little 4 windows on it, and then it's the number 3. So Shift,
And
number key,
Shift
and 3.
Command 3.
Is it Command? Okay, and 3.
I
Yeah.
think that's for the whole screen. I do 4 for when I want to do a
Okay.
smaller section. You know what I mean? You can
Oh,
like
okay.
make
Uh-huh.
the boundaries. On mine, that's
Smaller.
Yeah.
Very good.
Mhm.
You say Shift Command 4 for part of the screen?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, I'm
So
doing it
that's a
now.
Mac. Anyone on a PC? Everyone's on a Mac, except for me, is that right?
Yep.
Okay, fair enough.
Is there any other kind of computer?
Linux, I don't know. So,
Maybe
yeah.
some graphs about that.
So I do Shift Windows S, and I'm gonna draw a picture around, or draw a frame around what I want. Nice, so I have it copied now. And let's see here, now I need to create a document. So I do it in Drive. You could do it in PowerPoint as well, but I do it in Google Slides, and that's how I'll be showing you how to do it. We have a collection that I'll show you in a little bit. We have a collection of slow reveals. And we have a social studies section. So I'm gonna go ahead and create this one there. It's about slavery. So I'm gonna go here and click New Google Slide. And now I'm in here, but I just want to, this is like a title slide. I want a blank. I don't know how familiar you are with Google Slides, but I can kind of just delete stuff, or I can change the layout and just choose blank.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm gonna paste my image in.
Mhm.
So, and it's already sized. That seems like that's good. I mean, you know, you can move things around like that little the red cross hatches will let you center things and stuff like that, but seems good. So this is the final version that I want, and now I want to create all the steps leading up to it. So I'm going to duplicate it. So now I have two versions. The second one is the target. It's the final one, and then this one here. The first one is going to be the one where I hide almost everything, where I hide all the numbers, I hide all the text. And so the first one, I'm going to start by inserting shapes.
Mhm.
I'm going to grab a shape here. Say I'll hide the title first. And I don't want I mean, you could do it with gray boxes, but I think it's cleaner if it's just white. So I'm going to change the background color to white.
Because then it kind of reveals like something was there, you know?
It's nicer. Yeah, if I like it. I feel like it's nicer if you don't know that there's something missing
Mm.
yet. And I'm gonna take the border off and make it white as well. So it's there, it's hidden, and then really you can just start copying it. You could right click and
Oh,
copy and paste, and then you leave that other one behind and just resize this one. There's a trick where you can hold the control key. Now again, this is a PC, but I can hold the control key down and just start making copies of that thing. Maybe there's probably another way to do that on the Mac where you hold a key down and when you drag it makes a copy instead of moving it.
Well, I think if you copied and just hit Control V, right? Wouldn't that just make the copies over and
So
over?
yeah, so I can hit Control C or Command C, Command V, and then I get another copy. And then I can actually just keep pasting. And some of the stuff it depends on how particular you want the reveal to happen. I could reveal all the state names at once,
Mhm.
or I could reveal one at a time. I mean, actually, let's back up a second. Because we were talking about the decisions that we have to make here. What should we reveal first? What should we hide next? Which actually the truth is that maybe let you think about that for a second, because we still in a minute I'm gonna hide everything first.
mm.
Oh, I got to change that back. Let me see here. No border. I'm gonna hide everything. Let's make it sort of a simpler one. We're gonna just reveal all the state names at once, maybe.
Mm.
But maybe you want to reveal one of these legends first,
Mhm.
or one of these legend keys. So this is the version that has everything masked. And now to start to reveal things, I'm going to make a copy of that first one. I'm sorry, duplicate the slide. And then I can just start deleting whatever I want to reveal. So what do you all think we should reveal first?
Maybe some of the maybe a number on the side. On
So
the vertical axis.
like that one?
Sure.
Right. So, and then if maybe that's all, and that's one step, and so then I'm going to duplicate again. I'm duplicating this one, like my most recent one.
Mhm.
And now, okay, what else do I want to reveal? Another number, or maybe we could use, sometimes what you might do is you delete one like that, and then you can have a discussion like, what would that middle number be?
Mhm.
Mhm.
Start to
Eric,
think
Eric,
about increments.
you could do this all in one slide. In other words, like you're talking about duplicating it, but you could just keep on just deleting the boxes as you go through this instead of having to make all the duplicate slides. Or you think it's better to have the duplicate slides with the pieces missing, individual.
Well, then you can use it again, right? Instead of like rebuilding it, I guess would be one of the advantages of
Got it.
saving this with the
Yep.
steps.
Mhm.
If I understand you correctly, Michael, one thing you could do is you could duplicate that first slide, which is everything masked. And then you could go through and delete everything you want on each step. But it's a little less efficient because you've already like in this one, you've already revealed this one. So if you, it
So I
means
think
that you don't have to then
Heidi
delete
Heidi
twice.
made a good point there. I think that I wasn't thinking about that, in other words, once you've done this, then you're just going through the slides instead of, like, I'm thinking it's like, why make up all these slides? We could just do this one, but yeah, then it'd be like repetition. It's like you have to go through this over.
Oh,
And the thing to
I see
remember,
what you're saying.
what did you notice, Louise?
Well, no, it's just that there is that mechanism where you can add things on one slide little by little with PowerPoint or Google Slides, but I can't remember what it's called now, but it's like if you want to show things little by little.
You
That's
could
the
do an
Is that what you're saying?
animation.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah.
animation. Is that what
Yeah,
you're
you-
saying, Michael?
No, I was thinking like just
Oh.
keep one slide, just, in other words, you could just keep working on that one slide, but then Heidi is correct. Then I'd have to go back at some point and then, put those boxes back in again, which is not efficient. It's better to make the duplicates because then it's always going to be there no matter what. To
Yeah.
do over and over again. Yeah.
And for the viewer, it appears that it is the same slide, right? It appears like an animation because you go through, everything's in the same place. You're just adding the things as you go. So
I-
the viewer doesn't need to know like how it was created, right?
Right.
One thing I'm interested in, because I was going to suggest for the first thing to be shown to be the slaveholding families,
Mm.
because then I think I like the mystery of, well, what the heck is the other set of data? And I think it's interesting, Eric, just, you can approach this as more of like from a math angle. So you said, put the 150 and the 50 and then talking about, well, what could be the middle number? And yeah, I just think it's interesting whatever it is that you want them to focus on, you're making your choices about what to reveal first, right? Because the path I saw was maybe reveal slaveholding families, maybe make some guesses about what do you think are the numbers, maybe show the low number, focus on, again, depending on what you want the students talking about. And I guess for us, in CLIP, a lot of this is what kind of language supports the conversation about what's missing, right? And it is very striking, the total white families. And anyway, sorry, just thinking out loud about these choices of what are you going to show first and how does that shift the conversation and your own focus of kind of guiding the conversation. It's interesting.
When I looked at the first slides where with the pedestrians, the car and the fatalities, I saw a clear pattern of every increase of 10 miles per hour, you had 4 fatalities. And I was like, oh, those students with math would like that. And just it's just a very clear like equation for them, that relationship, the number relationship for them.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So so given that, I think it would be great for you all to start to play with this so you can start talking about so you're kind of practicing the kind of the technical aspect here, but you're also making decisions about what order to do this in. I'm gonna stop sharing for a second. Did anyone bring an image that they wanted to use? Do you want to see the images that I brought?
I actually brought something. I did it and David observed me on it because he just said, play around with it. So can I do the share now I like your techniques. Can I do the share screen? Okay.
Yeah, please. Yeah.
I got it. So here. Sorry, I have a lot on my screen right now. Let me do this.
Wow, I'm impressed, Linda.
So this is what is at the end, right? So this is the entire one. And so just like, this is what I showed them in the beginning though. I decided to focus on the numbers. I just put the numbers in there and I just asked them like, well, what do you see? And the students were comparing the red and the blue and the scale and they're asking like, why are there 2 sets?
Uh-huh.
Okay, what do you think this graph is about? And then I started to put in the numbers. I decided I wanted them to think about the numbers and then later on think about the content. So here, okay, so, and I really didn't want to choose a color that was so obvious because then the blue would be the male participants and the red would be the female participants. But that's the original that I found.
Ah,
So this is Title IX.
oh, wow, cool.
Mhm. So why did this happen? You know, about 40 years apart. And what questions do you have about the graph? And
That's
then
cool.
this is the end.
Oh, so cool.
Mm-hmm.
But I like how I did it was I kept doing, so I got the original and I kept doing just took screenshots of parts of it. But how you just showed where you can just put in the text box and the white, I'm like, oh, that's so much easier. So that's what I did.
And
That's
Linda,
really cool.
in terms of like the language support, did you?
Oh, I did comparatives before.
Yes.
Because we had just been doing comparatives and all of a sudden like, and I just showed them like gradations of comparative. This is a level 1 class.
Yeah.
So it's like a little bit, you know, higher, much higher. And they were, as I was eliciting, they were using the language I just I just taught them. I was really
The
kind of shocked
dream.
about that. And this is actually Title IX. When I did the end of term reflection, so many, especially female students, loved learning about Title IX. And I didn't actually, I showed the video, I showed the graphs, I showed an article from Newsela, but I realized how much they were interested in this. So
Cool. Did you read a book or something that tied into this?
no, but I think that's
topic?
something I will do next time because I did Muhammad Ali and the social impact of sports, and then this is
Oh,
another
so there was
component.
also a sports
Cool.
theme.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Mhm.
so that's just what I did.
Interesting.
I would
I've-
like to
I've
know how
got
to
the
do a
graph.
line graph.
Oh, just putting out there, I do have a graph I'd love to.
Okay.
Eric, are we gonna do
That's
it?
great, Linda.
Thank you.
Yeah, so wait, I'm sorry, I was away for a second. Who brought the graph?
I have a graph. Does anybody
So
else
Heidi,
have?
would you like to maybe get a start, like maybe share your screen, create a Google slide document, do
Yes.
the initial screenshot. You won't do it, we won't like wouldn't have to do everything, but just maybe the first few steps, and then after that, I think maybe we can break up into 2 groups and have you all work together on another one.
Okay, so I'd love to do this one.
So one thing I recommend is that you make it as large as possible before it's doing the screenshot, just for the quality of the image. If you
Mm.
can, is it possible to zoom in and then do a screenshot?
Oh, okay. Hold on.
Unless you can sometimes you can right click and copy a picture. I don't know if it's PDF or not, but, or if it's an image,
Would this be all together? Yeah.
might have to yeah, I probably have to screenshot, yeah.
Okay, and I don't know why that's. All right, so let me Command Shift 4. And I guess I have to take the whole thing, right? Which
Do you want the text on the left?
not really, but it has the title. Maybe I add that myself after. Let me forget this. Hold on. Oops. Okay. So just this, right? Would that make more
It
sense?
seems like the title, it has sort of like like the text on the left is the title, but more than the title. If there was a way to just add in Nepal, right, on the right where it says adult literacy rate, because it's missing the fact that it's in Nepal if you
Yes.
exclude
Yeah.
the text on the left.
You can, what you might do is, you know, copy the graph on the right, exclude the text. But the other thing, we can also crop the image once it's in Google Slides. But you know, you can write your own title in Google Slides
With the text box.
with the text box, and
Right.
then yeah, right.
Okay, so I'm going to do this in here. Okay. And how do you change the, well, I can just, or do I right click to just change the,
You see where it says apply layout right
Yeah.
within the menu? Yep, there you go. And look for blank. Yep, there you go. Mhm.
okay. All right, hold on 1 second. Let me drag it in there. Where is it? So I've got too many things saved on my desktop. Is this it? No. Where's,
It's possible that it's also copied. I think it puts it on your desktop automatically. Does it also
Did
put
it?
in the clipboard? If you paste, is it not there? Oh, it's not,
Mm,
okay.
no, all right, hold on 1 second. Let me. Ah, this is it, right? Yes, okay, hold on. I found it. So let me just drag that in there. Okay, let me share my screen again. Okay. And center that a bit.
So what I
So-
recommend, if you double click the image,
Mhm.
yeah, it's now in sort of a crop. So you could, you might crop the top. Like if you go to, there's a, not, that's a rotate, yeah, exactly, that little black
That it
line.
just,
And below the title, I believe. And then you can type in your own
oh, so
title
we're
to
going
replace
to
it.
get rid of, okay.
Yeah, and then you might use a text box.
Okay, sounds good. Oh, did I? Shoot, hold on, let me undo.
Yeah, I don't
think
know
I-
if you, I don't know that you need to crop it left or right, but you could, yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
that-
yeah, that looks good.
all right. So I'll do a little text box here to make our primary. Literacy, literacy rates in Nepal. By gender.
What do y'all think?
What do you think? That wasn't the original title.
Do you have a year or is it, it doesn't have that
What
stuff?
did it
You don't have
say?
that in the
Yeah.
data.
What did it say in the
Let's
original?
Oh yeah, 2021.
Adult
It says
literacy
by sex. Oops.
by
Okay.
sex.
By sex, 2021.
Maybe it should say adult or 15 and over. It's an age 15 and over. Is
Yeah.
age 15 really adult?
Hmm.
Some
In
countries-
Nepal it is, I guess.
Right.
Hmm.
Maybe should I
Interesting, right?
do a little star, a little asterisk, and then have
Mm.
another somewhere, some adult is 15 plus.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do a little text box. Maybe can I do a tiny, teeny tiny?
Mm-hmm.
Hold on. Makes it a little bigger. Thank you
By
for
the way, I like that it's what Linda's comment before about not wanting to use like pink and blue or red and blue for the gender. I like this, the yellow and the purple.
Yes.
Because it doesn't you don't kind of automatically associate the colors with the gender.
Good point. Okay, what do we think? As the original.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I always do this, just slide, duplicate, slide. Let me, okay, well, I guess I cover everything first. Yeah. And then, so insert shape. Here we go. Yep. Okay.
I would actually, I mean, you can sort this out, have your own process, but if it were me, I would be editing the first slide, not the second one. Because for me, the second one, because I think you have the
Oh.
second one highlighted. Yeah. Because I would think of the second one or the last one as the
Yes.
final, totally
Yes.
revealed.
Got it.
Yeah.
Got it. Makes sense. Okay. All right. So I'm just going to start laying out these boxes. Did you, where's the border, this border, and then this is the fill color? Okay. All right. Oh, and I should have copied that. Oops. Okay, let me do another one. I'll copy this one. So we'll do, well, it doesn't make sense to do female, male separately, right?
Mhm.
Just do one whole.
No, copy it.
Okay. I should do one here, right? Definitely feel free to opine. Okay. Nope, hold on, that's a little covering that.
Um,
Okay. Uh-huh.
While we're waiting, go ahead and continue. I think you might
Okay.
want to cover the
Yep.
percents as well. But while you're working on that, I'm going to share. And what I'd like to share with everyone else is I have a collection of graphs. So maybe I'll let you while Heidi is working on that.
Mhm.
Oh, I don't need to share. You can share, Heidi, because I'm just putting a link in the chat.
Oh, okay. All right.
You might share again, because we'll come back to you in a second. But in the meantime, if you want, you might look at this collection. It's a Google folder, and see if you find a graph that you might want to play with. Let me know if you have trouble finding the graphs. Louise, it might be hard to do this on the phone, but
Yeah,
I'll be impressed if
I
you
can
can
find it, but I just can't see you guys at the same time.
Right.
Mm. Huh? How comes this one isn't? Okay. Okay.
Nice, nice. So Heidi's ready when we're ready. Maybe if you can pull yourself away from the other and come back and look at what Heidi's sharing. I think if we could do one more or like one more step or two together. Yeah, so you duplicated that first slide where everything was masked.
Mhm.
And yeah, go ahead.
So what do we want to reveal first? And again, our choices are, we could reveal information. Do we want to save that it's male, female? Do we want to reveal numbers? What do you guys think?
I'd reveal the male, female first, maybe, possibly. And then it's like, oh, okay, so it's male and female. What could it be?
So
What do you
now,
guys think?
okay, so I have to remember, okay. Okay. Slide.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so they'd be saying, well, it's more males than females.
Mm-hmm.
Do we want to go with numbers next, or do we want to do the locations? The other, again, to go back here, do we want to do Nepal, South Asia? Not
The
sure.
I guess doing the numbers first is always good too, though, because it's like they look at the numbers then delve into like the theme.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just
I
an idea. I don't know. That's
Yeah.
I generally show the numbers first.
It seems
Vote
like
another
Yeah.
for
the
numbers
website's
first.
telling
Yeah.
us about
numbers first and then the,
Mm-hmm. So do we want to do a new one after just 80% and they guess what the other purple numbers are?
right, just looking at the numbers, like, okay, so that's probably all gonna
Yeah,
be
they could like
81%.
approximate those numbers then, once they have one.
Okay. So then we want to do these. Okay.
I think the title, now that I'm thinking about it, I would break up the title into more than one piece, maybe.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Instead of giving the whole title.
Mm-hmm.
What was the whole title?
Here's the whole title. Adult asterisk.
Well, I
Nice.
guess, yeah.
No,
Maybe
but
it doesn't
that's,
matter,
I
because
think,
if you hadn't given the male female already, now the bike, because I thought if you started it with like adult literacy rates and then added the,
I think that's a good idea, Kristen, because then they have to guess where. So where do you think this is?
yeah. That's true, and then you could do the one
And
at a
when?
time, the Nepal, South
Right,
Asia.
and then you may not have the when yet either, right?
That's confusing the lower middle income because it's not defined there.
Yeah, I
And
guess
Right,
I
is that
like that
Asia or is that just
this.
Nepal, the third one? I know
yeah,
it's
that's not
on that
clear.
too.
And I wonder if the original, why does it have that without saying?
Maybe there's more information somewhere in that document. What is this from?
Mhm.
It's interesting though, because the slow, I mean, this is such a very simple graph too, but just by doing it as a slow reveal or even constructing it as it makes you focus in on those details and be like, wait a second, there's like information that's missing, you know?
Yes.
That maybe if you were just kind of like, oh, I'm making an observation about the graph without kind of like looking at each part so carefully, you may not.
This is
But there is
frustrating.
a little thing there that says compare economies. Maybe that identifies what middle. Oh, that's just a whole nother thing.
I wish it said, is that right? Is that, I don't know, that's confusing. Well, should we just complete it regardless?
You would have the option of taking that one set of data out, if you, if you
Yes.
felt it was going to cause confusion. So
Yeah.
since we have so much power here.
But I guess that's another, it's sort of like measure twice, cut once. So once you've committed to this graph, which I just, knew I wanted to do something on Nepal, I hadn't even really thought about this. Could have just eliminated this from the start. Although, yeah. Well, should we just
Me-
finish it as a,
It's not a great graph, right? Because it's
not
unclear.
showing?
That's something to talk about too, I
Yeah.
suppose.
I wonder if there was
Mhm.
something. This is
Oh,
yeah.
there. That
There's
gives you,
there's a lot of different graphs on this site. I was looking for one about literacy.
Yeah,
About
maybe there is something there about the government. It would be interesting to me if it also, because it has Nepal, then it has South Asia, if it then had kind of like the whole world or compared to, let's say, Europe or, because it's just,
Right,
there's not a huge difference between Nepal and
It's true.
South Asia.
right. Yeah, there isn't that much of a difference. And what countries are they including in South Asia? Right? Like there's still a lot of questions. But I guess those are questions students could ask too.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It is weird that it's
it's like leads to a conversation about how statistics can be manipulated to show what you want.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Well, do we want to stop with this one because it's problematic and go off and?
It was a good example of taking something
Yeah,
simple and doing, I mean,
absolutely.
really, we're learning how to make them, and it's nice to
Right.
know. And not only like it's Eric, like now I see how kind of simple that you could do this with any, just having a screenshot of any graph. But it also makes you think, like, if there's a graph that's like so, like from the New York Times, sometimes they're so complex, right? That you could just easily take part of it, right? And just remove the stuff that's like, okay, that's too much information. That's like going to be hard to talk about. You could really just zone in on what you want to work with and then also do the slow reveal. But that same technique could be used just to say, I'm going to cover this and cover that and just use this part.
Yeah, there's no requirement. I mean, right, who says that you have to use the complete original, right? You just use what works for you. Would it be useful now to maybe break up into smaller groups? Because then everyone can kind of really get their hands on it, hopefully. Can we take just a couple minutes to see what y'all, to share what you worked on? Maybe.
You guys want to go first? Room
Yeah.
one?
You guys
Either-
go first.
Your room one.
We can, I mean, we didn't like finish
Yeah.
anything. We looked at a lot of different graphs.
Yeah,
and
we didn't do,
down a rabbit hole of looking and kind of talking about what would be difficult or easy about working with different ones. So
Uh-huh.
I can
Mhm.
quickly share like one, for example, we had questions, how we would do, and then maybe Michael, you can share the one that we started. Michael started making the Google slides of it. Let's see, where is this? This one. So this is an example. Can you see this?
Oh, wow.
There was a few we opened where we're like, oh, but what if we wanted to reveal one line at a time? How
Yeah.
would using those boxes cover them up? Right. So there were several in this kind of like, oh, how would we do that? Or that weren't like straight. Where was the nuclear like that? We were like, oh, this is kind of a funny shape if we wanted to hide part of the data
Uh-huh.
there. So we did a lot of talking about looking at different ones and kind of seeing how easy or difficult it would be to cover up the different elements. And Michael, do you want to share the one that we did start covering?
Do a ton of stuff, and I was kind of playing around with
Oh, wow.
just a very basic. Well, so we were just trying to figure out like what would be a good graph to use, and then it was playing around with what kind of shapes could we
Oh,
use
cool.
to cover up. Let me see if I could do this the right way. I did it wrong. I'm not
Right,
sure.
but you use a different shape for those sort of
Right, and so
slanted
Eric had
line.
figured out this thing called polyline, which was a way to do that. Let me just see if I can. Okay.
Oh,
So
cool.
there's a shape down here called, and so I had to basically you're making it with your mouse, and you basically you move your mouse to a point and then you stop, and that's a line, and then you move a mouse in a different direction, that's another line, and then you do it, and each time you come to a stop, you kind of let go of the clicker, and then you click again. And the
Okay.
idea was that, because these words are on an angle, it's much more complicated, because I think Louise or maybe Christian both wanted to maybe reveal the countries, one at a time, So, yeah. And Eric, thanks
Oh,
for sharing.
that's cool.
And that's under shapes, the polyline?
So I think it was under shapes. It was
Oh,
actually
yeah.
select line.
Ah.
Select line.
Okay.
Oh, and there's even curves.
Right.
Hmm.
oh, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
the
wow.
polyline was what Eric had suggested, and it definitely makes sense because you can make it the shape any way you want to, and then I think you can play
And
around.
you can fill it in. I think the other ones you can't fill in, right? You could do different
That's
shapes.
right. The other ones are sort of lines and curves, but they don't have a fill.
So this gives you a little more flexibility if you're covering things that are not rectangular, not right angles.
Mm-hmm.
Because we thought this casualties by war, that once a couple things were revealed, then they could, students could kind of start to guess like what were the other
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh.
cool.
what were the other wars that had the higher numbers.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'd be fun to reveal some of the ones with lower casualties, and then start to have people guess what the highest ones are.
Yeah.
They quite often do that, and that's
Hmm.
World War II, they might guess, but you know, would they know about the Civil War? I mean, for, you know, immigrant
Right.
students, I'm not sure, yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's surprising how similar the total is for
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
Civil War and World War II.
Mhm.
The components are interesting too, the green, red, and blue, right? What those
Let me
different.
go back to
Mm.
the original. So the green was wounded and missing in action. The reddish was non-combat deaths, and the blue was combat deaths.
Mm.
So non-combat death, like disease, infection,
Yeah,
stuff like that. Because wasn't there
Hmm.
in the Civil
Mhm.
War?
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
fascinating.
Yeah.
We just have a couple minutes left. Maybe we should switch to the other group.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let me share ours. So this is where we start. I'll just
Oh,
read
cool.
through it.
Oh, we looked at this one too. Anyway.
Yeah.
So we talked about, it's not clear right away that those are percentages, but we reveal the numbers, this side, that side, then the title. And sorry, one thing that we then discovered that we thought was very cool was the original, we then talk about the source, and then it has the original table. So there's a lot you could do to maybe recreate or just to, because it's by neighborhood,
Mhm.
try to identify what is this neighborhood, right?
Hmm.
And find it in here.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah.
Hmm.
Seems like it had a lot of potential and
Mm-hmm.
it was close to home. You could find your neighborhood and find where it is on
Mhm.
here. So
It'd be cool that if, you know, after the slow reveal and you have the final graph on a projector, let's say, and then everyone has the table on paper,
mhm.
and maybe
Mhm.
they have the graph on paper too. Like, I don't be interesting. Could people find their own neighborhood in
Yeah.
the
Could
data?
they
They can
label
Just
the
a lot.
dots?
They label it, yeah.
That would be cool if you're in the in-person classroom, if you had a large one projected on a whiteboard or a large paper version either way, and then people could come put like Post-its by the
Mhm.
dots that
Mhm.
like
this
their
is
neighborhoods or a
the-
neighborhood they're familiar
Right.
with or something.
Mhm.
I was going to say this is the 2000 census, so it'd be interesting for them to just find out these two data points now for their neighborhood, kind of see
Yeah.
where it would go. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I tend to find like, and on NYC.gov, I find a lot of accessible graphs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And so
Um,
we were saying this is such an easy thing for us to share with each other, right? If you're doing a theme and you find these great graphs that relate, and
Mm-hmm.
that would be just
Yeah, and we'd like to have them. We'd like to use them too, if you're willing. Like if you
Yeah.
create some, you know, and
absolutely.
new graphs. So I put a link in the chat to the collection we have,
Mhm.
and we have a lot already. But we'd love to include yours as well. We have a Google form that we
Mhm.
created that you can just like, so you can submit a share
Mhm.
link, and then we'll make a copy of yours if it's Google Slides into our collection so other people can use it. And maybe you probably have other ways of sharing stuff too with each other.
Yeah.
This was really
Yeah,
fun.
that
Thank
sounds
you
good.
for
We could
inviting
make
me.
we could make a clip on our clip resource pages, like either a link on the page or just a folder where we can put stuff, and then we can also share it. And maybe maybe Heidi and I will start to look for opportunities to add some to our curricula
Yeah.
so that they're kind of already embedded in there, which
Yeah.
will like generate more interest for then when your people do our curricula, then they do their own
This
curriculum
is why I
later.
wanted to do that Nepal graph, because there was a YouTube video that had gone missing. And so I was looking for data that could represent what was in the video. I'll have to find a better graph.
Oh,
But something that can't just be taken away as a YouTube, right?
Oh, yep.
A little more long lasting that we
Yeah.
can put there. Yeah. Eric, this was so great. Thank
yeah,
you.
thank
Yeah.
you.
Pleasure, absolute
Concepts
pleasure.
here.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Eric.
Much,
Any
yes,
final
Thank you, Eric.
questions for Eric before we
Let
close
me,
shop?
I mean, hopefully you already have my email, but if you don't, here it is. And you want to share something you're proud of, or if you have a question, or, you know, I'm available. So, yeah.
Great.
When I like this cross pollination, I think, right, there's a lot there.
Yeah. And I really consider this like a reading skill. You know, you find graphs and data in reading a lot. And so both to learn how to interpret it and to think critically about it, but also then to be able to speak and write about it, then you bring the language, right, element. But so all that, it's a part of reading, it's part of writing, and it's part of language, right? To
And
talk about
accessible
words
to
and
low,
use it.
to like Linda's, you're saying, a very low level class, if simplistically goes up more, less, right?
Mhm.
To much more complex language that could be used